So let me start, sir. I welcome Dr. Balaji, sir, the leader of Onco team from RRM Next Institute, and I welcome our topper, Dr. Harish, rank one in surgical oncology names. It's a dream for hundreds of people. I'm very happy to see Dr. Harish achieving this dream. We are going to have some interview with Dr. Harish. Dr. Balaji, sir, is going to ask how he prepared, what are the things he did. Everything is going to ask now. And all the Onco aspirants, definitely this is going to be an eye-opener for the next 10 minutes. Please grasp the points, what Dr. Harish is going to tell and what Dr. Balaji sir is going to tell. Definitely this is going to be a eye-opening for you in future preparation. Okay, I will be just silent watching what they are going to do. Please, sir, you can ask introduction about Harish and everything, sir.
Yeah, Harish, let me know about your undergraduation and your post-graduation, where you did your MBBS, MS. You can tell us about your experiences and how you heard about RRM and the faculty and everybody.
So I'm basically from Tamil Nadu, from Coimbatore. So I did my undergraduation from Coimbatore Medical College, and I did my post-graduation from Maulana Azad Medical College, New Delhi. And everyone from Tamil Nadu will know Rajamahendran sir from his long cases in surgery book, and also his gynec and obstetrics book. So along with that, we also used to read his handwritten notes, which were circulated even before he had published his books. So that was when I was first introduced to RRM. And since then, I've been following his classes in both oncosurgery and surgery classes for my PG preparation.
That's great to know, Harish. And first of all, let me congratulate you on pulling off what is probably the most deserved seat in oncology in today's world, so to say. In India, getting the #1 rank in AIIMS is really awesome, and no hats off to you. Really, it's your hard effort that has paid off. In the class, you were always up to the mark, and you were asking questions, lot of words, lot of clearances, everything. So that is just showing it. And MAMC has got a rich tradition. Dr. Ravi Kannan, Dr. Vikas, so many other big surgical oncologists, they're all from MAMC. They're all MAMC faculty, alumni. And you are also there in the illustrious group now. So welcome to the group of surgical oncologists. And that's great. That's really good. So how was your experience in the surgical oncology with RRM Next? And you are also there in the...
Firstly, I was searching for any coaching centers for surgical oncology, because surgical oncology is a very wide area where you cover a variety of organs. So it's not like you study from a single book, and even DeVita alone isn't enough. So it would cost a lot of time. So that's why I was searching for an entrance coaching, and there was only one available, and then I joined that. And I don't know, MAMC was always my second home, I can say. So and I did my MS over there. All my faculties, my seniors and juniors, what I learned from there, and also my undergraduation from Coimbatore. So whatever I gained from there, I had carried on with me, and I went immediately to AIIMS and joined as a senior residency at AIIMS only. I didn't waste time after my master's. So instead of just sitting at home and preparing, I thought it's better to work somewhere and then prepare. So you get to see patients and you don't lose your surgical practice, and then you also get to study at home.
That's great, Harish. That is one very important point, I think, which all our online audience and everybody who is an aspirant in surgical oncology needs to know. First, know your specialty, and once you're interested in that, try and get in somewhere where the specialty is well known and where you get a lot of exposure. It need not be cutting alone. It needs to be a lot of exposure, a lot of cases. I think that if you do, you learn a lot from that. I think Harish is one standing example of that. So what are the... you mentioned that DeVita alone is not enough. So what are the other things that you studied as far as your preparation is concerned?
Sir, I studied from your booklets, so which was very helpful, and even the medical oncology aspect of it was very helpful. You should not ignore the medical and radiation oncology aspects. And one of the major things was in this exam particular, many were clinical based questions, where it's difficult to just translate an AJCC or an NCCN guidelines directly into a MCQ question. So when I was working in AIIMS Surgical Oncology Department, under a beautiful department with great faculties, we used to see patients day in and day out, and then we discuss with faculties and seniors that decision making, what is needed next, not to hurry up. So that really helped me with this session. It was more of a clinical based pattern this time. So if I had just sat home and just been studying all these NCCN guidelines and just reading Devita again and again, that wouldn't have helped me clear this time. So it was more of a clinical based.
Yeah, I agree completely, Harish. That is exactly what I pointed out at first. That even I did the same when I joined surgical oncology. When I took up the exams, I actually got through in Bombay, very close, couple of ranks. I just missed out. At that time, the entrance exam pattern was the only one which was there. But then I also joined surgical oncology BNB and then finally came to MCH. So I completely agree with you. The knowledge of the field is very important in small day-to-day things that makes a big difference as far as the exam is concerned. So that is good. So what do you think about the training that was given to you in surgical oncology at RRM Next, and how do you feel? You already said that you studied the notes. So was it a good guide as far as Devita and a bit of NCCN and the practical guidelines are concerned? Did it help you out? Was it what was applied in your aims clinical scenarios as well? How will you correlate the training and the clinical training that you have?
So I have to openly admit that I have never read Devita fully, not even once. I have just read your notes and I have revised my basics in Sebastian and Bailey, which also I have booklets from your coaching institute. And then I kept reading them again and again, refreshing my basics and mainly from my clinical knowledge, which I developed during my senior residency for 1 year. So I just didn't want to go running around here and there with too much of test series, and I just wanted to focus on theory and keep revising that. And little bit of recent advances is very good, because when you want to go to an institution like AIIMS, you will have to be updated with the recent guidelines, which will be easier to learn if you are working in a institute or in a specialized department, rather than just haphazardly searching for articles. You will know which articles are necessary, which articles are applicable in your treatment. And when you see and interact with seniors and faculties in that field, it was really helpful.
That is good. That is good to know. So can I take it that Devita was given in a concise form as far as the notes and the classes were concerned?
Yes, that was what I was about to say. Just because I had the notes, I didn't have the need to go and read Devita from cover to cover. So I had joined the class, and the faculties who taught me in that institute, they had taken notes from Devita and they made a booklet. So if I had to go and again read Devita, then there's no point in attending the coaching and reading. It's just a waste of time. So either read the book or attend the coaching class and then keep reading the notes again and again. Because the teachers in the institute, they just take out the important points from the book. So if they had left something and they are specialists in that, so obviously that is not important for the exam or in clinical practice.
Great, Harish. Yeah, that is exactly what I wanted to tell you, because Devita, if you go back and you actually read Devita, you will know there is a lot in Devita which has to be given in a very concise form. What is essential is what is condensed and given to you as far as the notes are concerned, because a number of questions do come from Devita, though, as you said, unlike what you have Campbell's urology or something like what you have in gastroenterology like Shackelford or Bloomgard, you don't have a single textbook for oncology, and that is where I think
you
have a wide variety of knowledge, and that is where I think condensing Devita helps. And plus, I think we also mentioned a lot about the NCCN guidelines as far as the classes were concerned. We keep mentioning them. That is the Bible of oncology. In fact, even more than Devita, the NCCN guidelines will give you a lot. So I think that we included a bit in the classes. I hope that was helpful as well.
Yes, sir. NCCN guidelines, I did have a look at it. It was also present in the notes. So I didn't have to specifically look out for NCCN guidelines, but for basic cancers like breast and lung, the common cancers, breast, lung, and the cervix, I did have a look at it, but only the specific management part and the specific scenarios, I did not the entire NCCN guidelines. It was like very picking.
Going through the NCCN guidelines also can be quite tough. It's all about 100 slides of NCCN that you have to go through for each subsite. That also one key point that I would stress for all the people who are still aspiring to do as Harish has done and done a marvelous job at it, is to look at the discussion part of the NCCN guidelines. That will really help you. It will cover almost everything that you need, give a concise view of what is needed for you. So a question about the general part. So did you attend the general part of oncology class? I mean, general part of the RRM Next classes as well? Like we had something from Bailey and Sebastian that was there, and did you attend them, or what is your take on the general part of any subject? It is common, I guess, for all the people.
So regarding general part, I dedicated proper amount of time during my master's. So my time during my MS at Maulana Azad Medical College and what I learned from there, I just kept revising that. I that helped me. I was good with Sebastian and Bailey and common clinical scenarios and basics which you see in clinics are more than enough. And I had just recently passed out MS. So if you had passed out a little 3 or 4 years earlier, then I would suggest attending such classes to refresh yourselves. But as I just recently finished, I was comfortable with my.
It's really great, Harish. Getting through, as soon as you pass your MS is really an achievement. You're a well-deserved candidate. Hats off to you again. That's great. That's great. Now, as far as the feedback is concerned, there is always room for improvement. Any class, anything which we take, there is always room for improvement. We aim to do that for the next session. Everything, the next class that comes up, the next batch that comes up, we always aim to have a little more. We aim to give a little more. So what would your suggestion be for adding that little extra bit here? One is already you said about the clinical scenarios that we can add on. Anything else that you would suggest?
I would suggest working in a specialized department. The most important thing, nothing beats that. And the booklet provided by an institute and proper time dedicated to preparation is more than enough, sir. It's like, and don't be stressed. I was really stressed, and I did have my fair share of failures before I cleared this exam. But then eventually it will come. It came for me, and it will come for everyone.
Yeah, God helps those who help themselves. That is the key word that you have to remember. You have to keep persistent. Persistence is the key, and you keep doing it again. Definitely, at some point of time, you're going to get your goal. That is what I will say for all the aspirants. I guess anybody who has taken up any major specialty in any of the colleges, they will all have the same story. Many of them will go through multiple exams. They will come close to getting it, near misses, and then finally, some stage it will all just click, and then you will get it. That is what we are looking for. So that's great. That's great, Harish. And so, would you say that having a few clinical scenarios, as we had in the AIIMS discussion, we had some kind of hand-holding session for all the people just before their AIIMS interview and all that. Would you think that helped you guys?
Yes, sir. Those
are all things which we didn't really cover or have time for in our classes. It is already jam-packed in 6 to 7 days, so we didn't have time for that. So, do you think that helped, that hand-holding with clinical scenarios and images and all that?
Yes, that did help a lot, sir. But it's better if you had seen that before, so that, and then if you have that in interview, it will be easier. And it's not possible to cover each and every clinical scenario in an online or an offline session. You must have some basic knowledge about it. So
that is where the working part comes, I guess.
Yes, sir. So I will never. I will always be grateful for the time I worked both in Maulana Azad Medical College and in AIIMS as a senior resident in the specialized department. So along with that, the notes from your teaching institute and proper time dedicated, because it is difficult to study and work at the same time. But you have to do it, and this way is easier rather than just sitting at home and studying. You have ways to go away from studies also. At the same time, you are learning. Even if you don't study, you are learning. Those two are different things.
Absolutely true. See, even, I remember one friend of mine who told me exactly the same thing when he got into cardiac thoracic surgery. He didn't sit and study a single day. He was just working in a CTVS institute. And, he kind of got through all the exams and he got selected in PGI, in AIIMS, everywhere. Whichever exam he took, he got it. I guess that is the key. So, aspirants, again, I'll tell you one thing. Your clinical knowledge helps a lot. If you're doing your MS currently, just in your second year, you will have a fair share of what is going to be your scope of study. And if you take it up and start paying a little more, because you will go to your various specialties in your second year and your special postings, at that time, if you have an idea, just learn a little bit more, and that goes a long way. And again, as Harish very rightly said, once you finish your exams, don't think that you have to sit and study. No, once you finish your MS, just go and work in some place, which, nowadays it's not enough to stop with MS. That has been a scenario for quite some time now. So I'm sure that all of you will want to work. So go and work as a senior resident in the place where you really, in the field, in the specialty that you want to get. So if you do that, I'm sure all of you will be successful as Harish was. So thank you, Harish, again once more. We are glad to be having you as part of RRM Next, and again tie up with Doc Tutorials for the online coaching nowadays with Corona. It's a lot more difficult to manage things. Even this video interview would have been probably a live session, but due to COVID, we are having it online. So anyway, that's all part of the game, I guess. As doctors, we are used to all that. So as an extension of that, and I know many of you guys. So what do you feel about these online classes? Would they help when you are actually doing work, and at the same time when you are studying? Would a recorded session also make a difference for you? Access to a recorded session.
I think that varies from person to person. To me as a person, online sessions I'm not very fond of. I prefer having a book with me or learning from an iPad. But there are people who are okay with that. So I think that is a personalized choice.
Great. So it is more to do with the fact that you may not be able to travel or take 6 days or 7 days off and come. So that is where I think these online platforms may have a role. Of course, nothing beats the live sessions. That is what I personally feel. Even when I'm teaching students, the interaction that you have directly with them. There are some things just that you reach out to the students. That is something which you can get only in a live session. That is my feeling. Okay. So Harish, congrats once more. Any other tips that you would like to add on to the other aspirants?
Before Harish is adding, I want to ask some few questions to Harish. Just
please.
Single one-liner questions only. Harish, when did you get interest in surgical onco actually? In what age? Now you are 28. When did you get an interest to go into surgical onco? Because most of them will have some interest at some age, no? When did you think you get an interest in this?
Sir, towards the end of my third year, with what I experienced at Maulana Azad Medical College, I had two fields, either surgical oncology or urology. I wanted to have a field with less of emergencies, and I got more exposure in these fields while working at MAMC. So in that, I had two choices, and then I felt surgical oncology is a better field. You operate on a very wide variety of organs, so every surgery will be a challenge. So I chose that field.
That's great. The second question, Harish, how many months did you do an exclusive preparation? You are working and preparing, no? Did you prepare exclusively without going for any job and sitting in the home and reading? Did you do like that?
No, sir. As soon as I finished my master's, I was preparing for a senior residency post, and then NEET. I was just not fully focused, but I had joined my senior residency very soon. I think within 1.5 months, I had joined my senior residency. It was like a vacation for me, and then once I joined, I used to study side by side while working. It was difficult, but I had no specific time dedicated for studying.
That's great. Harish. Actually, the third thing, I from the interview with the Dr. Balaji sir, our leader is he has made an excellent material for surgical oncology, and you have told one point that is no need of a question bank series, because now I'm seeing there are so many question banks, available in the market. People are going and wasting time on so many question banks. As you told correctly, I also feel instead of going and wasting on question banks, you should read the materials or the books, standard books that will cover even hundreds of MCQs, which is not covered in MCQ series. Can you put something about, did you do any question bank or never did any question bank?
I would never do any question bank. And for those who are going for surgical oncology, I don't think that is a good option, because the portions are very, very vast. Along with medical oncology and radiation oncology, it's a huge portion to cover. If it is an organ specific or a region specific specialty, it might be helpful. But for surgical oncology, what is the probability of the same question in the same organ coming to you in the same exam? It is very unlikely.
Okay. So actually, to be frank, Dr. Balaji sir will be knowing. We used to tell every year we are not getting any ranks in AIIMS from Tamil Nadu. After so many years, we got a first rank in AIIMS. I think, am I correct, sir? We didn't see any ranks in the past 2-3 years also. We used to get NEET as the top ranks, but for AIIMS, Tamil Nadu student, I have not got rank for 2-3 years, I think, to my knowledge. I don't know about Balaji sir. What do you think? What extra step did you make to achieve this rank? Why do you think Tamil Nadu students are not getting into this? I have not seen AIIMS, even SG also this year we got first rank. What do you feel? What we are missing from here in relation to preparation of the AIIMS? Can you tell me? Yeah.
I think
because many of your friends will be preparing. No, many of your friends also will be preparing from Tamil Nadu. Some of your surgeons, so that they will be doing some big mistake. That may be the reason they are not entering into AIIMS. I feel like that. What do you feel will be the reason?
Maybe I think they think AIIMS and other institutes have very limited seats, so it is not possible for them, and they don't have a targeted
Okay.
approach towards institute exams, and the NEET is a wide variety of colleges where you can choose from. But I think if you are focused towards clearing aims, and if you work in a specified department and you have adequate knowledge, I think Tamil Nadu people will also clear the exams in the future. There are many people from Tamil Nadu working in AIIMS Surgical Oncology Department. You will know once you
Now
join.
they're preparing for exams. Okay, hope we will get the upcoming year. They will get the ranks.
No, sir. There are many people from Tamil Nadu who are MCH residents in AIIMS Surgical Oncology.
Okay. They are working in surgical oncology now. That's great.
One word of Rajamahendran. Yeah, just if I may interrupt. Yeah. So this is with regard to the AIIMS pattern of examinations. Now, one thing I can see is AIIMS is one exam where either it is gastro or it is onco. You get a good mix of clinical and what you have worked with, that knowledge, general, all this is, and subject specific questions. A lot of times you have felt that, AIIMS asks very specific questions. You would have learned that, you would have just missed that one point in either Subiston or Shackelford or in DeVita or in NCCN, that one line, it would have made the difference. That's a crucial point. So that I think will set apart. And, I will say this, friends, of all the exams, even better than NEET, it's easier for you to get into AIIMS if you know how to focus. So just do that focus and I'm sure you will get it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Harish. It's a nice interview. If we extend the interview so long, the students will not attend the interview. I think everything is covered. I think everything has been covered. I hope you will be an inspiration for hundreds of students, and we will be waiting for you to come back to RRM Next as a faculty in future. Thank you, Harish. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.